Nasieba Jamie is the founding member of the Lillah Foundation, and we speak to her about the foundation and the people empowerment in our Serving Humanity segment of News and Views this morning. We welcome you, Nasiba, to our program. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Nasiba.
Assalamu
Nas-
alaikum to all your listeners as well.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you for joining us this morning. Are you putting together a program for the holidays under Lila Foundation?
Now, alhamdulillah, we just completed our last feeding for the year. That was on Monday, on Christmas Day. We
Mm-hmm.
cooked a couple of foods for distribution, alhamdulillah. And essentially that's been what we've been doing for the past 3 years, is the community feeding.
Mm-hmm.
And so alhamdulillah, we cook not just on Christmas obviously, but we cook
Yes.
for Eid and weekly as well, for Muslims, non-Muslims.
What was the motivation behind starting the foundation?
Alhamdulillah, I've been asked that question a lot, and um, I must just say that is something that Allah had placed in me to start. We
Mm-hmm.
started during COVID in 2020, and the need was to just feed people. Everyone was out of work. We were losing family. It was a really tough time, to say the least. And alhamdulillah, for those who have been blessed to have a little more, I felt that we needed to reach out to our communities and assist wherever we could. And since Lillah Foundation was started, it was never a plan. It was something that just happened overnight, basically.
Yeah, when some things are meant to be and come from Allah, and when your sincerity is as pure, then Alhamdulillah, the work just grows and you find more and more people that you are able to serve. Alhamdulillah, that's wonderful. So I think you've built it into several different categories of assistance, and I find it quite interesting because you've distributed it quite cleverly in terms of choosing where to assist, if you like, because that's a very difficult choice to make. People need so many things everywhere all the time,
Yeah.
and I think basic needs, of course, the hunger alleviation, which is what you focused on first. But I like how you've you know built on that. Can you tell us about that, on what you do?
No, yes, indeed, subhanAllah. We initially started out as a feeding scheme, and I realized we can't be boxed. There are so many needs for our community, our people. We are struggling. We are a struggling community in Cape Town, and I'm sure other areas in South Africa and the world. Um, so we are not boxed. Wherever there is a need, we assist if we can. Alhamdulillah, we've always been able to assist. Um, so we branched out from the feeding, community feeding, we branched out to food parcels, and we saw a need. The elderly, pensioners, they can't go stand in a line and wait on a food parcel or wait on food. So we
Hmm.
go deliver food parcels monthly. But pensioners, our target is widows with orphans. I myself was orphaned at a very young age, and I know the need to be able to assist such households. And from that, we branched out to supplying electricity units. Obviously, when there is no load shedding, people need to be able to cook that food that we are um, supplying them. And then I get calls daily. I think because of load shedding in Cape Town, I'm not sure in Johannesburg, but there's been so many house fires. I
Oh
randomly get
dear.
calls, how can you assist? And so we've done that. And then also with Janaza assistance, where we pay for the whole, send food to the family. And these are really communities that we assist, and we just try to give some dignity back. And even with our feeding, we cook food that we ourselves eat. And I firmly believe that what you give to others is what you would want, because Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us, but we so easily could have been on the receiving end. So
Mhm.
and I don't like using this word, but we pride ourselves on giving people the best that we can, adding your pure butter, your dania, and just giving them a wholesome meal. And
What
that
are
is
the
always
numbers? Right. What are the numbers approximately that you're feeding in terms of your weekly food distribution and then, of course, the monthly food parcel distribution? How many? What are the numbers?
look, the numbers, alhamdulillah, during Ramadan, our numbers skyrocket because everyone is extremely generous through the month of Ramadan, and we find it difficult through the rest of the year. And it totally depends on how the donations are coming in. So whether it's 2, 3 pots of food, and we always cook on a Friday to
Hmm.
get that barakah of a Friday of a Yom al Jummah for not just ourselves for that's cooking, but for our donors that they benefit on the most holiest day of the week,
Hmm.
inshallah.
Hmm.
So the one thing, Sister Najma, is that we do not keep numbers. We do
Mm.
everything purely for the sake of Allah, and we do not count how many mouths we're feeding, and we feed as we can. And Alhamdulillah, we've been doing this consistently for 3 years now, going into our fourth
Alhamdulillah.
year. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. And in terms of funding, where do you get your funding from? Generous donors, I guess, hey?
Funding,
Yeah.
generous donors, and even our 50 Rand and 100 Rand. And Alhamdulillah, we have seen so much barakah in every cent that we receive.
Hmm.
None of our members, um, we do not take anything out of this organization. This organization is purely for the sake of Allah. So whatever people pay towards Lillah Foundation, every cent goes back. Whether it's zakah, your sadaqah, your lillah, everything goes back into the organization. And that is the guarantee I can give to donors, is that there shall be never any member salary, personal gain. Our gain is with Allah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah. When you talk about diversifying what it is that you assist with, interesting that you're able to supply electricity units to low or no income
You know,
homes.
yes,
Eh,
there is a big need, and I randomly and get these requests. And also when we do supply our food parcels, we do supply the electricity units with it as well. Like I said, it's really pointless providing people with food and they have no means to cook
right, right.
that food with. Yeah.
Hmm. And then your skills development is quite interesting. You teach how to cook 100-liter pots of food as self empowerment or community
Yes,
feedings. That's very
yes.
interesting.
Alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
we started that last year, and we actually even had requests from Johannesburg if we could come have a class there. So,
Okay.
Najma, with any organization, you get some negativity with that, and it's like people saying you're feeding people, you're enabling them, they lazy, they don't want to work. So I thought, okay, let me flip this. Let's teach the community um, how to cook, and the classes are completely free.
Hmm.
And Alhamdulillah, we have been inundated with requests, and we've had people from all walks of life. I had a doctor, I had a lawyer, I had a molana, I had a mother at home just wanting to provide for her family. I had aunts with nieces and nephews coming, and they still cook monthly as a family and get together. And Alhamdulillah, I think that is so beautiful. And
Yeah.
I even had a Maulana messaging me to say he's cooking his own food for his fundraisers. And Alhamdulillah, I just think it's amazing that we could give that back to the community.
I can just imagine what that community spirit is like when you're doing this.
Yeah, and it's the most easiest thing. I think people think it's really difficult. When people see me, they can't believe I'm the one that's cooking the 100-liter pots of food. But it's normally associated with adult males and standing around a fire and cooking this big pot. But it's so easy, and it's the most rewarding thing ever to be able
I'm
to cook
sure.
that food and to distribute it. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. You also provide emergency care.
Emergency care, when we have requests as someone had suffered a stroke, very poor household, they maybe need a new mattress, they need adult diapers, they need whatever care we could provide. And so we step up and we try to assist. Like I said, we are not boxed in our
Mm.
assistance. We try to assist however we can, really for the sake of Allah, and to just relieve a family of a difficulty.
Right. And now, as I said, I might be repeating myself, but I just find it very interesting that you've diversified so cleverly around the needs of the people. In terms of the
I don't
education,
even know how that happened, Sister Najma. It just happened.
yeah,
Alhamdulillah. And everything is from Allah. So
yes, yes.
we just run with whatever we can.
Right. And I suppose as you go along, you've seen, okay, there's a need here, there's a need there, let's do this. So I see these things are popping up as the community, requires. So your educational assistance with fees, uniform, stationery, that is remarkable. And I'm sure there's a
And
need, right? A big need,
no, it's
unfortunately.
especially
Yeah.
with the widows, with the orphans, it's a big need. Suddenly the husband had died and he was the sole provider. And the stress of having to pay that fees or the embarrassment on a child for not having paid the fees or not coming to school with the proper stationery. So, like I said, we just try to make a difference, how big or small. Alhamdulillah, we try every day that, and our aim is always that the donors of Lillah Foundation benefit daily through the support of Lillah Foundation.
Mashallah, mashallah. Well, there's one that sort of all of it stands out for me, but this one here, I left the best for the last, if you like. And all of them are best, but this one here, Hajj assistance, helping prospective Hujjaj with shortfalls. That's
Alhamdulillah.
again something. I'm sure it's come up again. It's from Allah. Nothing is coincidental. Nothing happens just by chance.
Indeed.
Your found yes, and your foundation's been established on that basis, alhamdulillah. So this is remarkable. Please tell us about this. How did this come about?
It came about, Alhamdulillah, I performed Hajj in 2019. And the following year, we were hit with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And for the next 2, 3 years after that, Hajj was really not possible for the masses, especially if you were out of Saudi. And
Right.
then I think it was 2022 with the open Hajj season again, and I was telling my members, I've always had a desire and longing to return to Makkah for Hajj,
Mm-hmm.
but the longing and the desire to assist someone else to perform the Hajj, that was significant in my life. And we had really little funds. We did not even talk about it. It was something random. I just spoke to them. And we all agreed on that day, look, there's no funds, let's shelf it and leave it and actively fundraise that year for the following year. And that night I couldn't rest. And I told my husband, even if it's one person we assist, I'm going to make a plan. And
Mm-hmm.
alhamdulillah, I reached out to a local sheikh and I said, Sheikh, please, if you know of an elderly person, a pensioner, please let me know. And alhamdulillah, that year was just reaching out to family and friends and acquaintances. We could send 3 people for Hajj. And moved to 2023, alhamdulillah, we had assisted 12 Hujjaj to go for Hajj, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah,
And
you've
currently busy with our current Hajj season and the applications are coming. And Sister Najma, I know people say, well, it's hadith that Hajj is for those who are by the means. And it's something I've really been pondering about is what is the means, because we have been witness to people that is by no means financially to take on such a financial burden of
Mhm.
exorbitant cost of Hajj. But they get to stand on the plains of Arafah. And I
Yes,
feel that Allah has put us in place to be that means, and we are part of
yes,
someone's journey to perform their Hajj, inshallah.
yes, yes.
So we're
Alhamdulillah.
currently in full steam with Hajj preparations and um, selecting, going through applications and vetting, the ease of vetting process. It's not just giving away Hajj tickets. We need to see that the prospective Hujjaj has put in the effort. They have been saving, but that gap, they just can't close that gap because the cost is just going up every year.
Correct.
And so, so it's not just giving away free tickets. You must have been putting in that effort. And some people have been saving for 20 years, 15 years. So, alhamdulillah,
Mm.
that the Lillah Foundation comes in and assist with that gap cover, basically.
Mm. Well, Sister Nasieba, you have inspired me, and I'm sure everyone listening is
Alhamdulillah.
inspired by your dedication, by your sincerity, and of course, your conviction to serving humanity. Alhamdulillah.
Well, only for the sake of Allah.
Hmm. And I like your, statement you've made on your pamphlet that we have in front of us. Whoever relieves a Muslim of a burden from the burdens of the world, Allah will relieve him of a burden from the burdens on the day of judgment. That is Hadith Tirmidhi. And I think, of course, it's evident that you live by this, that you run your organization by this. And may Allah grant you and your organization and your members, of course, success in your endeavors, more barakah and blessings. And may all of what you do be accepted, inshallah ta'ala. Um, like I said, we are. So that is, of course, the founding member of the Lillah Foundation, Nasieba Jamie. Nasieba, thank you so much. This is such a
Thank
heartwarming.
you so much to
Um,
you for giving us this opportunity. And
uh,
inshallah, our hope is to spread this throughout South Africa to assist Hujjaj, not just in Cape Town, but inshallah, we know there is Durban, Johannesburg, and all the cities in between. So inshallah, that's the style. Please keep us in your du'as.
oh, I'm sure it will work. You just spray some angel dust on your on your intention, and I'm sure the barakah will be there, and you'll be able to assist more and more people. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy to hear that. Inshallah, we will follow up on that, and of course, Salam Media will be more than happy to speak to you about it again whenever there's a need.
Jazakallah so much.
Assalamu alaikum. Have a wonderful day. And Jazakallah
You
once
too,
again
inshallah.
for inspiring us.
Alhamdulillah, shukran so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
All right, we speak to Ahmed Ada, who is a resident in Jenin after this break. When we get an update on from him, I beg your pardon, on the areas of Jabalia that were bombed. This is the northern Gaza Strip.